that MNPS is going to need within this next budget cycle. Clearly, we want to produce from the Metro Council the best way to support their success, and this is just one of several ways. So, Co-Chair Aaron Evans is on there. I see Councilman Cash Hurt, and Rosenberg. Appreciate that, and Dr. Battle, thank you, and great job with Mayor Schulman's program the other day. I thought you really came across really well. So let's get started. I think it's a great way to sort of learn more about Metro schools. Chair Buggs, would you like to, or Dr. Battle, make any comments before we start?
No, I just want to thank council members that have joined us and anyone in the community that wants to understand better, all the things we're doing, all the moves we're making in human resources. So thank you, Mr. Barnes, for being here after hours, and to all of our MNPS staff. Thank you, council members, for joining us.
Sounds good. Dr. Battle, any comments, or should we just get started?
We can definitely go ahead and jump in and get started, but thank you all for the opportunity to spend some time with you this evening to update you around human resources and MNPS. We greatly appreciate the partnership.
Sounds good. And that's what we wanted, to be a partner, and look forward to talking more. Dr. Barnes, would you like to go ahead and get started?
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening to the Metro Council, to the school board, and to Dr. Battle. We are so proud of the work that the Human Resources Department and MNPS has done over the past year, and I really appreciate the opportunity to spend some time sharing that information with you. We hope to show you how the work that HR does ties directly into our goals and our core tenets as a district, and you'll see how we're helping achieve focused outcomes for students. Right. There we go. Excuse me. We've worked on developing 4 core tenets within the district, and our work has become much more valuable because Dr. Battle and the board and district leadership have provided clear direction of focus from the work through the outcome of 4 core tenets that helps direct all of our work and our attention. And those 4 are to re-envision the central office as a support hub for schools, empower and equip leaders at all levels, identify and eliminate inequities, and create a supportive, engaging, rigorous, and personalized learning experience for all students. As you can easily imagine, the work of human capital and human resources is embedded in all 4 of these core tenets. I've listed for you here the upcoming school board budget priorities for the next year. And as you can see, employee compensation is our first priority that we're bringing for you tonight. We applaud the board, the district, and Metro Council for placing employee compensation at the top of the list of priorities for budget. Before we go further, we need to acknowledge that there's been a great deal of work done in this area over the past year. We provided a 3% cost of living increase a year ago in January, and beginning this past July 1, every MNPS employee is made a minimum of $15 per hour. I want to share with you next a little bit of the research going on around the nation about employee and teacher compensation. And we can't ignore the need that we continue to need to address employee compensation deliberately and comprehensively. Daniel Pink is an author, and he wrote this book called Drive. And it has some real interesting information and study and research about what causes and creates employee engagement. And what they say is that the best use of money as a motivator is to hire great people and pay them enough that the issue of money is off the table. And what's interesting is when money is not the object of attention, the focus turns in employee satisfaction to 3 areas. And it's interesting because those are the things that we're already doing as a district to improve. And so you'll see those things being a forefront of our attention. And what engages employees in jobs like ours is a mastery of learning, ability to self-direct, and a unity of purpose. And so once we can address the employee salary issue, we can really focus on enhancing those areas of the employee work life. When you look nationally, salary compensation continues to be one of the largest factors for teacher turnover nationwide. And I think it's important to note as the years continue to go on, it's going to become even harder to recruit and retain great employees. And we have to deliberately affect as many of these things that are listed below as possible. I've shared with you here the data and results for nationally, how Tennessee ranks nationally in teacher pay. Currently, we are 37th in teacher salary nationwide, and our average teacher salary ranks 28th in the nation. I also would want to also reflect you on the fact that our per pupil spending is some of the lowest in the nation as well. But specifically, when you look at teacher salary, we continue to struggle with the fact that we're not keeping pace nationwide. What I provided for you here is a chart explaining the gap of salary for almost every age of experience for teachers. What you'll see here is our starting salary is higher than the national average. However, as people get to milestone markers of years 5, 10, 15, and 18, we begin to drop below the state average in average teacher compensation. I want to highlight for you one of the signature initiatives that HR is working on, and it's something called Hire Forward. And at its core, Hire Forward is designed to reduce the amount of time that a student goes without a certificated teacher in the classroom. And it works towards a day where we have applicants waiting for jobs, not jobs waiting for applicants. At its core, it builds deep relationships with our local universities and with principals, and providing students the best opportunities by reducing the amount of time that it takes for us to hire a teacher. And all of this sort of embeds itself in the research that shows that having a certificated, experienced teacher in a classroom is by far the largest indicator for student success. Now, Hire Forward sort of breaks down into three main goals that I've talked with our school board and with our employees over the past year. And that's obtaining the best applicants, training them to be better, and retaining them in our district with the goal of retaining them throughout their entire career life cycle. I've broken each of these down in greater detail for you. And in the obtain section, I've also put for you the two core tenets which are essential in reaching this goal. And that's creating a personalized learning experience for students and identifying and eliminating inequities. The Economic Policy Institute has done a series of reports on the perfect storm in the teacher labor market. And I wanted to begin by grounding your thinking in some of the national research that's been done that highlights the concerns with teacher recruitment and hiring. I think it's important for us to know what's happening across the teaching profession so we can see how it is affecting the students of Metro Nashville Public Schools. This report here shows that even 10 years ago, you had more teacher candidates than you had positions. But over the course of the last decade, what you've seen happen is a decrease in enrollment in higher education programs for education, an increase in need of students, and an increase in retirement over the years has flipped that narrative to now we find ourselves in fierce competition with other districts in other states for a diminished number of applicants. Why does it matter? It matters because a shortage of teachers harms students, and it harms the entire system as a whole. And having a lack of a sufficient and qualified teaching force creates an inability for students to learn. In addition, the more teacher turnover you have, the more it consumes economic resources that can be better used in other areas. A teacher shortage permeates into every teacher's day-to-day work. And if we don't staff our schools effectively or train them well, it affects and creates a cyclical issue where high turnover creates more turnover in a district. I think why it matters specifically to us, I mentioned earlier about our focused outcomes for our district. We want to focus on 4 clear areas, and that's literacy, numeracy, social and emotional well-being of students, and successful transitions. And as you can see, a stable and strong workforce is critical into realizing all of these focused outcomes. I mentioned earlier about the research about the effect of having a certified teacher in the classroom. Of all the measurements and indicators of student success they can find, having a qualified certified teacher is 3 times as important as all the other factors that they measure. So at the core of this, having a certified teacher is critical for student success. I want to share with you the next slide, and I'm going to show you with you several slides. As you can see here, this is a copy of the MNPS vacancy rate for teachers over the last 3 years. As you can see, there are 3 peaks that obviously come during June and July of every year when traditionally teacher turnover occurs. I'd like to draw your attention to the fact in the last 8 or 9 months, we have making critical steps towards changing the vacancy rate of teachers in MNPS. I want to recognize that the HR team, working in conjunction with principals and district leaders, have put forth an amazing amount of effort to address the vacancy rate concerns that have been plaguing us for the last several years. Reducing the vacancy rate and keeping it low is the first critical step in permanently reducing the vacancy rate of teaching staff in MNPS. Moving forward, I presented to our school board about a year ago and shared with them. On the left, you will see the number of teacher vacancies we had in February of 2020 versus today in 2021. You see, we have reduced our vacancies significantly. And when I mean, these are classroom-facing positions. So currently we have 27 vacancies. A year ago, we had 132. We've also addressed our need in our hard-to-staff areas. As you know, some different roles are harder to find candidates for. There are less math, exceptional education, and English as a second language teachers than there are some other. So we consistently find struggles in finding quality educators in these key areas. But as you can see, we found ways to address those needs as well. Even all the way down to our paraprofessional roles, we've been able to affect the number of paraprofessionals that districts, that our schools need as well. This probably is my favorite slide. Currently, we have 107 schools who have no certificated teacher vacancies. We have 20 with 1, and we have 4 that I would consider to be significant numbers of vacancies. And that's through the work that we've done throughout the course of the past year of hiring the best candidates and working on how to address our culture to retain those teachers the best that we can. Last summer, we did launch an initiative, and we tweeted out every school that reached 100% fully staffed last summer. And we're proud to report that most of these schools have remained fully staffed throughout this school year. Another of our core tenets is to identify and eliminate inequities. And what I've done for you here is I've done the research to look at what our diversity is over the course of 3 different staff groupings: certificated administrative, our support employees, and our certificated employees. As you can see here, obviously, there's one area that we want to address significantly, and that is in our certificated employees, our teacher ranks. I do want to mention, however, that the Tennessee Department of Education's most recent report shows that statewide the diversity sits at about 13% for teachers and 20% for administrators. But our goal at MNPS is we want our teaching staff diversity to match our student populations as well. So we're consistently working on looking for ways to increase those opportunities whenever we can. And this graphic below shows that primarily most of our work will be done within the local metro region. We have great relationships with the colleges that are here in Nashville, and we want to foster those relationships the best that we can. We're going to do some recruiting in the region for areas that we can reach in a day and have teaching programs we want to access. And our national recruiting needs to focus on those high areas like large schools that have large education programs and accessing HBCUs and HSIs, which are historically Black colleges and universities and Hispanic serving institutions. And we need to access those places on a nationwide level to address the diversity needs that we have locally. On a side note, I also ran this same report and looked at gender diversity as well as the other diversity. Admin, we have 65% females and 35% males. The teacher is 80-20, 80% females and 20% males. And our support staff is 76% female and 24% male. So we're looking for ways to increase diversity in all of our areas. I want to move your attention towards the goals we're working on to train our employees to do better and to work more effectively with students. As you know, the leadership framework, we have selected 15 signature initiatives that help us realize our focused outcomes and relate to our core tenets. And one of those signature initiatives is our leadership framework. In conjunction, working with the Nashville Public Education Foundation, we have built a new leadership framework. And what I like best about this leadership framework is not specific to principals. However, it will address our leadership in our principal ranks. It's also leadership throughout the district in all areas, including central office and other areas that support our schools and our students. It focuses on three main domains, and that's manage of operations, focus on people, and driving instruction. And as you can see, that has begun to become systemic through all of our work with our leadership framework with the leaders of our district. Best practice, shows that effective principles affect every part of a school building. It affects attendance, it affects school cultures and climates, and it affects teacher satisfaction and obviously student growth and outcome. It also helps with turnover of teachers, and we'll talk a little more about turnover when we get to the retention part of this presentation. We're also working on building a new teacher academy, which has a clear onboarding plan for our new employees for their first 5 years of employment. We want to provide those employees and equip them with the best skills and abilities they need to be successful with Nashville, with Metro Nashville Public Schools. Most of the turnover that you see, and this is not an MNPS issue alone, it is a national issue, but a large amount of turnover happens within the first 5 years. And if we can address those turnovers of our newest teachers and equip them and embed them in the successful practices they need, our retention long-term will be better overall. Now, with the third part of the presentation talking about retention, I could not find a core tenet that retention does not intimately associate with, because retaining good employees is critical in helping our students work. Obviously, you can imagine there's an academic impact with turnover. Research shows that a stable workforce improves student test scores, and it allows teachers better opportunity to collaborate together. Research also shows that students in the same grade level in the same school where there's high turnover do worse than their counterparts. The turnover affects every part of a student and a teacher's life. If the academic impact isn't critical, there's also a financial impact. Now, I looked at 2 different national studies that show the cost of replacing a new teacher in a district. And obviously, these vary widely between $8,000 and $20,000 per teacher. But you can imagine, even on the low end, that's a significant amount of money that we're spending every year retraining, hiring, recruiting new teachers, when we could be working to hold on to the teachers that we have and helping them get better. I think that's a significant piece towards improving our retention rate. I want to share with you some more good news. We are hitting 5-year lows in our retention and our turnover rate of teachers and staff in the district. We looked at 4 different areas. We looked at teachers, support staff, I broke out other certificated staff, which includes counselors, librarians, coaches, and then our administration. And you can see out of 3 of those 4 areas, we are hitting 5-year lows in our turnover of staff. The question is now, how do we continue that work and move things along to improve and continue this sort of retention and turnover rate? I want to focus you back and give you a look again at our focused outcomes and our core tenets. As you can see, the work that we're doing to try to improve the teaching staff and the employee staff of Metro Nashville embeds itself in all of these areas and all of these outcomes. The leadership framework is one of our signature initiatives that's critical in improving the efficacy and the culture at our buildings and our schools. I want to share with you one of the 3 challenges that our HR department is working on moving forward. It's providing greater supports to our newer teachers, improving our ability to hire earlier and hire better, and shift ourselves from a reactive state to a predictive state. And in that, I mean that when we get involved in the day-to-day work, we're not able to predict forward, analyze trends of data that are coming, and look to offset concerns and problems with hiring 5 years down the line, rather than what's in front of us right now today. For you as a Metro Council, we want to appreciate everything you've done. We appreciate the support you give to the budget priorities of Metro Nashville Public Schools. And we ask you, if you hear concerns or questions, to funnel those to our department so we can resolve them and get information about that. And just continue to communicate the opportunities and the advantages that you have in working with Metro Nashville Public Schools. And that concludes the presentation tonight. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Dr. Barnes, Dr. Battle, man, that's envious to see the vacancy rate drop like that. I'm in business, and I'd love to see that kind of number. We're going to have to show us how you do that. They must have heard you guys are working there. Really great presentation, Dr. Barnes. Really appreciate it, and really you seemed to hit several of the points I was going to ask. I have several questions listed, but I'd be glad to open up to questions if you, council members, if you have it. Ms. Porterfield, I see Council Lady Porterfield. If you'll just raise your hand, I will recognize you so we can get started with questions. Council Lady Porterfield, I saw you hit the button first.
Thank you so very much, Chair, and thank you, Dr. Barnes, for that wonderful and informative presentation. I just had 2 questions. When you earlier in the presentation, you talked about some of those, vacancies for some of the hard-to-fill positions, such as I think that those were primarily exceptional education, ELL, and possibly STEM, if I remember correctly. Have you all done any type of, or are you considering any type of sign-on bonuses or retention bonuses to recruit people for those positions?
So we do struggle with that because there are districts surrounding us that are able to offer retention bonuses. There are sort of 2 answers to that. I think that one of them is continuing to affect the overall teacher salary will thereby also improve that issue and problem. But we have put in a budget request to be able to offer recruitment bonuses as well in those hard to staff areas.
Thank you. And then my second question was around the slide that you showed with the diversity statistics. I believe it was roughly like 50, 54, and maybe 27%.
Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't clear on what area of diversity that was because it wasn't listed. So is that diversity based on like ethnicity, or I'm assuming it was ethnicity, but I'm not sure.
Yes, ma'am. I used African-American, Hispanic, 2 or more races as one, and then I had white as the other. So that was the normal diversity track that I took. So diversity and ethnicity was what I was meaning there.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Council Lady Porterfield, and she keeps her teaching skills at council. I guarantee you. We hear her comments. I go, that's a teacher talking. There's no doubt about it. Council Lady Evans, recognized. co-chair. Thank you for setting this up, by the way.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Dr. Barnes, for your presentation. I have a couple of questions. You had very early on when you were first getting started and you were talking about the vacancy rate, you revealed, that there's 27 vacancies today. But what are those schools doing that have those vacancies? Are we talking, they're all larger class sizes? Are students going without certificated faculty members in that subject area? Are principals walking in and teaching the classes? Can you explain a little bit about how that's working?
Yes, ma'am. And I will say that there's been some interesting things that have been done during this time of COVID to address some of these issues of teachers with accommodations or needing to be out. Primarily, we access a lot of our 120-day retirees to help fill some of those gaps. And then whenever we can, if we have to use a substitute, we use a certificated sub so that someone who is licensed is still working with those people. And then we often use, we'll do interim reports or interim teachers so someone can come in and teach. And sometimes we will then recruit that interim to stay the next year as a teacher.
Okay, that's helpful because when you were talking, I went and was looking on the MNPS website at the positions open and saw that you had said 27 and it showed, I think, 83 maybe on the site. So is that attributed to some of those jobs just haven't closed? Some are just ongoing needs that you're going to have in the fall, and so you got to keep those open to be recruiting now?
So a lot of the ones you will see there will say 2021, 2022 school year. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to recruit ahead for next year. And I think to be colloquial, we want to swim in the pool when it's deep, mm-hmm. not when it's shallow. And your best applicants are looking for jobs now. And so we want to capture all those that we can. So some of those are for next year's and some of those are those interim positions I described. If someone's going out for FMLA or for leave, something like that.
Right. That makes sense. Thank you for explaining that. And then do you have any, you talked early on about the Daniel Pink book, which I recommend everybody on the call. It's a really good book.
It is.
Yeah, but you talked about that and kind of pay and motivation. When do y'all do exit interviews, and does that come out as like a number one, hey, I really needed to go to another county and make more money?
We do. I put it into a place where every time we hear about a resignation, you'll receive an exit survey. And we've also put it on our website because sometimes people leave and we send it to their email address that's no longer working. Mm. So there's also a place for people to access it externally and share that information with us. From what I've seen thus far, it tends to track pretty close to those national concerns as well. Things of the same nature with class sizes, professional pay, and there's I think some of it there's two different things that are happening. Nationally, about 16% is what a teacher turnover nationally is. And you see about 8% of that leaving the profession entirely, and 8% sort of moving around within the profession where they leave one district to go to another. And I think traditionally when you see people leaving the profession, that's more keyed towards that salary. Moving around are some of the things that sometimes things happen, and especially this year, we've seen a lot more transition for some families needing to do different things because of job loss or COVID. So we're seeing some of the same things that are nationally the same concerns putting forth.
Okay, thank you for that. And my last question, and then I'll turn it back over to Councilman Dreppel. On the kind of a preview, I guess, from a budget perspective, are you hearing a certain amount that teachers feel like that they want to earn in this profession? I mean, I'm just thinking about, I taught a long time ago, but I remember having a second job, and I would have been grateful to have the extra money, so I just didn't have to work the second job. Like, is there a dollar amount that's kind of aspirational for teachers, or anything you can share in advance of the budget?
Sure, and I think that we've put forth several different options and ideas. I think it would be presumptuous for us to say, here's the number you need to match. Mm-hmm. I think the real concern is I think we have to address the fact that living in Nashville is more expensive than living in a lot of places. And so I think that affects teacher pay as well. But I think it's a blend of things, but I think the goal is to try to make sure that the salary is increased consummate with the cost of living and the needs that we have in the district.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Thank you for that.
Chair, if I may, this is Hank Clay. As council is probably aware also is that the mayor has done a salary study for teachers and has fortunately continued to try to make teacher pay one of his top budget priorities. So I'm sure that when they release that salary study, that will be informative as well.
Thank you. And Chair Druffel, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another teacher talking. The next teacher up is Councilman Cash is next, and then I got Council Lady Hurt and Council Lady Porterfield next. Councilman Cash.
Thank you, Chair. I have a couple of questions. I'm a data nerd, so I want to jump into that a little more. And the Council Lady Evans kind of started it. Council Lady Evans kind of asked some of them, but I want to go back to that. But before I do, I want to add to what Mr. Clay said, that council did a teacher salary study too. In our first year of special committees, we had a committee that did that worked on salary studies of teachers, bus drivers. I think we looked at paraprofessionals a little bit, and we looked at police and fire. And it's on, I know it's the data, the report that we did is on the council website. And if I may answer the previous question, I think, and you know, what you said about cost of living is certainly correct. And I don't know that I want to throw a dollar amount out there, but I think teachers in Nashville want to be paid competitive with other like cities. You can find a lot of cities where we're not there. But let me jump into the data. So the graph that you gave about the vacancy rate over the course of the last 3 years had upside down cones. And I made the assumption, since it seemed to jump in about February and drop over the summer, is that that you're counting something as a vacancy once somebody turns in a notice of intent to resign. That vacancy is in that chart is not the same thing as an empty classroom, correct? Like if somebody turns in a resignation letter in February, it looks like you are counting that. I mean, I'm sorry, a resignation for like not coming back next year, that you're counting as a vacancy between when they put in their notice and when somebody is actually hired for that position. And that's why we see the big jump in those upside down cones, correct? I don't think that 500 and something number represents empty classrooms, does it?
No, and on my chart, those peaks are hitting right around May. But I'll go back and look at them more closely. Of course, it's hard to enlarge that graph large enough to see it. But I am talking about when we know that a teacher is leaving.
But not necessarily when they've already left. Like maybe leaving, but in some of those periods, you have time to find somebody to replace them before there's a question of subs or principals covering the classes or something like that.
And that is what we try to do constantly through the year, is look for people to grow into and work with grow our own programs and work to, bring quality employees into the teaching profession.
Gotcha. It'd be good. Sometimes it'd be good to see. And I know at certain points in the year, that data is going to reflect like classrooms that you haven't been able to, like that you've got a sub in or something like that. And that would kind of be interesting, separate from the vacancy. And I wanted to ask about exit data, but I appreciate Councilor Evans asking about that, and would think that would be good data to include, even if it is separate from, I mean, it is close to what the national said. And then the salary data that you gave, I wanted to ask something about that. I'm just curious if when you compile salary data, if you're looking at the salary schedule and kind of pulling the numbers off the salary schedule at each step and educational level, or if you're also like averaging in, like if they're coaching supplements or stipends for leadership or other things, or any extra income, if that's being counted into the average, or if it's just coming from the salary schedule. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And those multiple jobs are sort of voluntary in a lot of ways. So those, I didn't include those in what the average salaries are.
Okay.
But that is
some of them are voluntary, but some of them make money. I mean, some of the coaching positions in high school get like a nice bump in the athletic directors and I think. Oh, one more thing, and then I'll stop. And this is more of a comment than a question. Just, I hope y'all will consider or have considered thinking, because I know Williamson County and Wilson County and Cheatham County have done this as an incentive, is to provide some childcare for employees. And I know that's not something that can be done in every building, and it might be that they don't, teachers don't want it in the building, but especially if there's space in some of the metro school buildings that can be separate from, a high school or elementary school, looking into that might be a good motivator.
Okay, thank you.
Good, Councilman Cash. Anything else? Are you good?
That's it. I'm good.
Good. Thank you very much. Council Lady Hurt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is on the same lines, and it may actually be the same question that Councilmember Cash was asking. But I was going to ask Mr. Barnes that he mentioned that it's the best time to get teachers. And I'm thinking that likewise, it's the best time for teachers to leave and get other jobs. So I wanted to know if they had anticipated any vacancies, and if so, what that percentage may be. Because I was thinking that the vacancies were right now.
Yes, and it is difficult. We can ask employees what their intent is in the upcoming year, and we can offer employees, we have as an early agreement, which says, a teacher says, I want to come to Nashville. It doesn't matter to me where we go. We may say, you're a quality candidate. We've interviewed you. We're going to guarantee you a position. Then we work with the schools to find the right location. Normally, you won't see teachers don't necessarily tell us if they're leaving until after they found a new position. So sometimes we don't know that until this late spring or early summer.
And if I can add, Councilwoman Hurd, this is Dr. Battle. We are in the process, and this is an annual process that we leverage in the school district. We do send out letters of intent to our employees so that we can start to gauge where we might have vacancies. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a better handle on that. It's typically not 100% response rate, but there are a number of employees, if they know that they're relocating or have a family situation, they will require them to leave the district. They will go ahead and notify us during the month of March. So we are in that process and should have some estimates here soon.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I apologize. I did my video off. I apologize.
Council Lady Hurt, do you have any other questions?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you see other questions? I have a few more. Dr. Barnes, have you done any study that shows like an aspirational benchmark of what the best teachers want? We know it's pay, but Councilman Cash had an idea too. Is are they looking for other opportunities or other things that might contribute to us providing the best environment for them?
Part of what we do is before I put in our aspirational budget request for this year, I spent some time with MNEA, with the SEIU and the USW, which are our three employee unions, to make sure that their concerns and requests were heard and valued as well. So that was some of the work we did to try to get that information into our process.
Is there something that you can sort of let us know in advance? I know the budget is going to come out soon, and we intimated to that. Is there anything that you can sort of give us a heads up on that we can anticipate or associate, teacher pay with the needs, or do you need to wait?
Well, sir, I would probably refer that to Dr. Battle.
Yes, I'm happy to jump in here. I think what would best position us in that conversation are the approved board priorities that Chief Barnes shared at the beginning of the presentation. We're happy to go back and recap those based upon the board's priorities, and that also speak to the needs of our teachers and our support staff. I think it greatly represents that. Employee compensation, of course, is the number one priority. There will be needs, and there are needs based upon feedback and based upon our data and research around the academic and social emotional learning integration supports. We do have continued needs around textbooks and instructional materials. Professional development is also a part of that integrated priority from our board. Our HR infrastructure, our IT infrastructure, particularly because we're now a one-to-one technology district. We're currently supporting all of our students and staff in a one-to-one model, but we've not shifted our supports in professional learning and IT support and the infrastructure in our schools. And then the last two I think I have not hit on are our schools of innovation and community and parent engagement. One thing that we've consistently heard from our teachers, we've heard this feedback from students and parents alike with regards to translation supports. That is a huge need for our district because of the diversity of our school system. And we're on a quest of making every student known, which means that we need to have those resources in place so that we can continuously connect with our students and our families to identify student needs and to get the right supports in place for them. So what you see on the screen are our board approved budget priorities. Again, there will be several kind of menu of supports, if you will, under each. Employee compensation, I'll go back to that one for just a moment. Several of our council members have hit on a few of them. The overall compensation study, meaning that we want to make sure that we shore up our teacher salary. We know that we see a dip in compensation on our average pay for our teachers at about year 5, and it starts to drop off beyond that point as teachers gain additional experience in the district. We have looked at and are exploring the need for retention and recruitment bonuses as well. We know there's a need for additional professional development for our employees all across the board, certificated and support. So those are a few that are baked into the school board's budget priorities, and we'll be talking more in depth about each of those priorities over the next few weeks, similar to the way that we shared those budget priorities and the specific strategies and needs under each like we did last year.
Good summary. Thank you. Councilor Porterfield, I see you have another question.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you. Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so it said I was still muted. Thank you all for this very rich discussion. I just wanted to kind of second one thing. I think it was possibly Councilman Cash mentioned, possibly Councilmember Evans, but it was mentioned about teachers many times having to take second jobs to supplement their income, and in some cases, taking on a third position for some teachers that I know. And I just wanted to also, remind us that also not only does it impact the teacher morale, when we're talking about recruiting teachers and retaining teachers, it definitely has an impact on their morale. And it's really hard to be your best self when you have been working, 2 and 3 jobs. And when you are, after a long day at school, you're having to go out and deliver, Uber Eats, or you're having to go out and do these other jobs to try to supplement your income. So that's something that I have been hearing from teachers, and in some cases, they felt that it was very demeaning and were, just embarrassed that, I had to do an Uber delivery today and I was delivering to, one of my students, or I was picking up one of my students because I am now taking on this second job. So I just think that that's something to consider when we're thinking about those vacancies and how we can save money in many instances by looking at that compensation as opposed to the money that it takes to train new teachers and take them through that process of onboarding a new teacher. That money will be better spent looking at salary. And then that was my statement. And then my question was, Dr. Battle mentioned textbooks, and I know that we do, have the one-to-one technology now, thanks to that CARES Act money. Have you all considered, and I'm not, forgive me, I'm not sure of the research around it now, e-textbooks as opposed to hard copy, actual physical textbooks, but have you all considered, would there be a savings if you all preloaded the computers and laptops with the textbooks as opposed to buying the physical textbooks? And is there an educational implication? I know there's value in actually touching a book and highlighting the pages, but I do know that some of those things can be done through technology. So have you all considered that?
Dr. Barnes, I'm happy.
Go ahead, Dr. Bell. Go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you for the question. Certainly, as we look to utilize our one-to-one devices in a blended learning format, there can definitely be some cost savings there, in particular in routine printings and things that we do. However, digital textbooks are oftentimes priced at or above even the same price of a hard copy textbook oftentimes, as the publishers have often, Pearson and big publishers have bought up and partnered with traditional printing presses as well. And so their packages are oftentimes come with a hard copy, come with a physical copy, and as well as an electronic copy. So generally speaking, a textbook adoption will not offer cost savings in the realm of an electronic book versus a hard copy. And instead, what you're going to wind up seeing is a blend of the two coming together, so that students still have the traditional books when needed, but we can utilize the technology to the best of our ability as well. Although there will be some cost savings in the future, again, as you reduce printing costs and things like that in a district our size, which can be considerable depending on the materials that we're printing.
Thank you.
Anything else, Councilor Lee Porterfield? Okay. My last couple questions. Dr. Barnes, you talked about that there was a fall off of teachers, increased vacancy rate around, I think it was the 5-year level. And I think you intimated to some degree that you would be looking at compensation. But clearly, in any professional experience, those are the people we want the most, right? Because, we see the experience level grow and the confidence grow. Anything else that you can share that you're going to do to retain that teacher? Because I think in any profession, especially teachers, you can see that confidence of those teachers. And by all means, I'm in complete support of how do we keep those teachers in the future?
Well, I think what I want to say is every year of an educator obviously is valuable, but some of that benefit is having those experienced teachers blend in with those newer teachers to bring them along, and that creates a continuity of unity, of effort, of sort of historical knowledge about building and students and things. So it's really perfect to have that blend and have that overlap. I think for new teachers specifically, it's all about engagement and equipping them with the knowledge and the skills that they need to perform well in a district like ours, but also making sure that we're doing those check-ins and doing that sort of customer service sort of attitude where we support them throughout their first few years to help them embed themselves and get themselves on firm footing. I know that my first year in a building was challenging because you're learning so much so quickly. So I think having the ability to have older teachers, not older, more experienced teachers, working with newer teachers is the great way to do that. And creating those pathways of support is what I mean.
Is there a survey, and I know we have an exit survey, but is there a survey of those teachers in that range of just gaining experience that tells us what they may be needing? Because now they have experience, they're moving into, I'm feeling confident, but we might lose them. Is there some feedback? And Councilman Cash, I'll catch it in a second.
I haven't parsed out the data to that extent. I was trying to build enough quality exit interview data to be able to feel like it was relevant. But I haven't parsed it out to that extent, no.
I'm just curious. Councilman, thank you very much. Councilman Cash?
Thank you, sir. And I have a quick comment on what you just said. Like TEL, isn't there? Is it still called TEL? The TEL survey that teachers do every year.
This is Dr. Battle. It was previously considered called the TEL survey. Now I believe they just call it it's the state's teacher and staff survey. So we do participate in that survey, Councilman Cash. But
that should have good data.
Yeah, it's a lot of good data, and we also administer our own internal survey as well. We just recently went through a round of surveys, and we're unpacking that feedback right now because our teachers do provide some valuable insight around what their needs are, because that's what we're trying to get to through the survey. Lots of good feedback about how they've been resilient through this time of particularly teaching virtual and during this school year, given the pandemic. But we asked some very targeted questions as well around some of their continuing needs as we move forward. So we'll leverage that feedback via that survey, as well as the state survey that's being released here pretty soon for our staff to participate in.
Awesome, thank you. And one more thing, I wanted to thank y'all for one of those first four goals or areas of focus had to do with central office, or I think it said repurpose or reimagine central office as a support hub. And I really appreciate that. And I think that ties into what Council Member Porterfield was talking about when it comes to morale. And certainly morale, I feel certain that some of the teachers that are leaving, it does have to do with morale. And as some teachers sometimes get overwhelmed because it's a big job, and they feel like they're being given stuff or told exactly how to teach, and tested in many ways with different student testing, but making sure that that morale and that they feel like they have some flexibility in their job and their instruction and the curriculum that they do, I think is key to making them feel like an important part and would go a long way. And I'll just add that I do think that in this era, it's clear that with the school leaders that morale is important. There were past eras where I think morale was kind of disregarded as something that's important, but I can tell that Dr. Battle and her team, from day one, knew that to build a strong team, you had to build morale as well, and I appreciate that about the last couple of years. Thanks. That's all.
Okay. Thanks, Councilman Cash. As we wrap up, I want to thank Dr. Barnes for this presentation. It was right on. I got a lot out of it, and I appreciate it. And I don't know if Dr. Barnes, if you wouldn't mind forwarding this so we could forward it to the council. I think there's value for those, especially as we're getting and we can see your priorities. I'd like to thank the school board and Dr. Battle and all of you for working with us. I think this is hopefully, this is something we'll start as a good trend so we can spend more time together and understand where you're going. So again, when we get to the budget, it always becomes sort of it goes quick, and all of a sudden we're like, well, what are we doing here? And I know it was my first year last year, but getting this information now really adds value when time comes. As a preview and a commercial for next week, we're going to go over social emotional learning with Judge Calloway, who I've known for a long time, and she is really a plethora of information, and it'll be good to hear her comments along with MNPS's work on restorative justice, etc. I've been to a couple of restorative justice sessions, and pretty amazed, and clearly something we need to work on. Any final comments, Dr. Battle, Chair Buggs, any from the school board? We really appreciate your time and being able to work with us so that we get to know you a little bit better. Any final comments?
Sure, go ahead, Chair Buggs.
No,
go ahead. Well, I'll just jump in and say real quickly, and you all might get tired of hearing this from me, myself, the team, or the school board, but we're very thankful for this partnership. We're thankful for the investments in Metro Nashville Public Schools. You've just recently passed an historic capital improvement budget for us to begin working through on behalf of our students and families. The commitments from this previous year, seems like months ago, with regards to the minimum wage. I know Dr. Barnes mentioned that as well as recognizing our teachers for some compensation increases with their step raises. So we greatly appreciate you all, and every time we get an opportunity to acknowledge that, we will be doing that, because it takes these types of partnerships, these types of opportunities to engage with one another, to continue to invest in our students. And our quest is to make sure every MNPS student is known, cared for, and supported in every way. And so it will take continued conversations to make that happen. And one last thing, as we're previewing for next week, we appreciate Judge Calloway and her partnership. And so our SEL team, our student services team, looks forward to that conversation next week as well. So thank you all so much for your time. And Madam Chair, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much for that. And thank you, MNPS staff, for this phenomenal presentation yet again. And I just thank you, council members, for joining us. We will continue this series. So thank you, Chair Druffel and Vice Chair Aaron Evans. And then, of course, on behalf of my Vice Chair, Rachel Ann Elrod, who has really worked diligently to develop these in conjunction with the staff. We just thank you for this opportunity. We'll see you all in about, another month for our next session. Is that right, Councilman?
I think it's next week, but let me verify.
Yes, we had to push it back.
Councilor Evans?
Snowstorm. So
Yeah, it's next week, the 11th.
then we'll see you all on the 11th. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thanks.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.